Hello guys, this is Pavel Skorp and Laravel Daily Video Channel again, back in your house, in your monitors or phones or whatever you're watching on. Topic of the day is documentation. The thing that actually developers hate to do. They like to create stuff, to write code, to launch the projects and to celebrate the victories, and documentation is boring. Actually, to write something it's like it's a poetry almost, but at the same time it's not. And then why would you need documentation if you're only alone on this project and no one is doing the same thing? But to be honest, that's a good practice just in your mind to always think about documentation and how much documentation. It's totally depending on the project and on the context and on the team and all of that. But there's one thing that you need to document properly all the time, no matter the size of the project or the team or anything. It's project installation process. So what I mean by that is you upload your project into repository like GitHub or Bitbucket, and then you need to install that on another server, like on staging server or on live server, or even if you buy a new computer or launch, reinstall your computer, like launch new virtual machine or change operating system, whatever. So there will be multiple times that the projects are actually installed. So you need to take care of that. And not even that, I mean, if you have a new developer coming on the team, if the project actually takes off, no doubt there will be more developers working on it. Even if you're alone now, if you are successful, you will have friends joining and you need to take care of them. So for that, there are a couple of things I would recommend to do for all the projects up front, and just don't forget about it. First thing is .env example file. So in your repository there should be .env.example, which would list all the necessary settings and variables, environment variables that are needed for the project. By default, it's usually database settings and that's it. But I mean, if you use any external settings and you need the API calls and there are credentials there, or if you use like queue drivers, any drivers like sending email or anything like that, list them there. Whatever environment variable you're using from .env, please don't forget to copy that to .env.example. Next thing is readme.md file in the main repository, which most of the times, like majority of the times, stays default Laravel readme.md. So just recently I've got a new project and I'm kind of onboarding the potential client, and I want to read more about the project, and I see readme.md as hi, it's Laravel. And it doesn't say anything to me except for the version of Laravel, which I can check in Composer.json as well. So, I mean, use readme.md to write at least a few paragraphs to future self or to future teammates, developers. That would be massively helpful. And then if there is any documentation for technical process, like deployment, like staging servers, like some passwords maybe. Well, passwords are tricky topics, so it depends. But I mean, if there's anything that developer would need to know to start working on the project, write it in readme.md or in a separate Google Doc that is linked there or something like that. So my overall point is make it as easy as possible for a new developer to install the project and to start working on it quickly. Otherwise, if you have to remember all of that half a year down the line or in a year or two, it will be massively painful to remember all of that. Oh, and by the way, one more thing. Use migrations. Use database migrations, please. I'm begging you. Because if you don't, then it will be a huge pain to restore a fresh database, export SQL queries and stuff like that. It will be massively painful. So don't just write manual SQL queries for create table or something like that. Don't use phpMyAdmin, use database migrations. So for new developers, I imagine that's how it used to be according to all the processes. A new developer comes in, does git clone, then composer install, then artisan key generate maybe, then copies .env example to .env, fills in database credentials, runs artisan migrate, artisan db seed probably, and that's it. And the project is live launched. Well, of course, the Vagrant configuration or Homestead or local web server, that's a separate topic. But yeah, I mean, there should be like 5 commands which are typical, which are standard and documented, and it should be fine. If it's more complicated than that, then if you don't write it down anywhere, then you will have to suffer teaching them or helping new developer to come on board. Or in case of you leaving the project for whatever reason, maybe you were fired, or maybe you fired the client, and then new developer comes after you, and you're not around there, then those new people will actually I don't know how to phrase it. They will hate you basically. They will hate you. They will not recommend you to anyone. They will maybe write some complaints online on internet. You don't want that. Please be helpful both to yourself, to your client, and to your potential teammates. So that's the topic of today. Just prepare some documentation for at least installation process of any project, and do that upfront. It's not that difficult, and then you will make everyone's life easier, including yourself. Uh, do you agree, disagree? Please use YouTube comments and subscribe to the channel Laravel Business, and also visit our sponsor, our Laravel Admin Panel Generator at quickadminpanel.com. And see you in the next episodes of Laravel Daily Channel.